The sun exudes sunlight and it travels past and over the earth. The energy hits the trees, and the trees are aware of the individual colors that are each a different wavelength frequency on the electromagnetic spectrum, and they each radiate a different energy. The trees are aware of this and they use those different energies for different purposes. Most frequently, the purpose is used to grow the individual trees, and often green is the most commonly used frequency, and we can see this because it is the makeup of most plants. In the same manner that animals and humans use and consume different energies and then have excess energies that attracts other animals and that those animals then use for their own energies, the plants do the similar thing. Often the most frequent excess energy is from the trees, is put into colors, and those colors are used to attract us towards fruits and vegetables. Some plants also use smell as the most frequently used way to attract other animals and insects towards itself. For example, vanilla uses smell to attract humans instead of using colors, and whilst the flower is white and we find that appealing, it's most frequently the smell that attracts us. Whereas for fruits and vegetables, it's often the colors that attract us towards the actual fruit instead of the actual smell, although the smell acts as a secondary attractant. A very basic way for us to understand the correct foods that we need to eat is to actually just follow the color range. So if we eat violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red fruits and vegetables, then we'll be getting all the correct energies from the electromagnetic spectrum, and in that ways we can have a whole balanced diet. Although some plants are harder to have access to because of the tropical necessity of where they need to grow. If we live innocently enough and we expect that things within the foliage and within the trees that are of a certain color should represent something sweet, as example of fruit, then it's only natural that when we're looking through the foliage of a tree, it's just to just touch the things that are red and expect them to be fruits. Although if you're foraging and you touch something that is red that is you think may be a fruit, and it turns out to be something like a reptile, and a poisonous reptile, then the consequences can be something very misfortunate. So in that way, it could be said that mankind was deceived by a reptile, although the reptile may not or may have been deliberately trying to attract prey so that it could attack and then have something to eat. It's unknown because it's so very long ago. What we do know is that that story has been widespread and has traveled all around the globe because a lot of people can recognize and associate the deception of colors. This is ancient wisdom because we know from very old folk stories and books that have been written and widely distributed that within the garden a lot of animals were living with mankind, and mankind was living a happy existence, and everything was bountiful. The story often continues that mankind was then deceived by another animal. And for those of you that would like to take that literally, I'll explain how an animal can deceive man. If man is foraging for food, and within the foliage is a reptile, and that reptile bites the man, then the man could say to his friend that he was deceptive because the reptile seemed to be appearing as something other than what it was, and that thus he touched it, and so it would bit him, and then he was deceived. And his friend would know what that meant. So it's a story essentially about camouflage, and how camouflage is used to deceive people from the original product. Another way to look at it is to say that two people were looking into the foliage and they saw another animal eating this certain plant's fruits, and the one friend said to the other friend, well, it's a poisonous plant, we're not supposed to eat that because it'll make us feel ill. And the other friend said, yes, well, that animal is eating the fruits, therefore we should be able to eat the fruits. And then they eat the fruits and become sick. So in that way, the plants themselves can also become deceptive if they've evolved into a poisonous plant, or if the people have evolved beyond eating a certain chemical. So that's a basic introduction to nutrition, and how nutrition over the ages has become ingrained into our psyche, and also how it has been interpreted over many ages by different cultures and assimilated by different cultures. It's also very fun and interesting to take as many of the fruits from different color ranges, knowing that they offer different nutrients, and evaluating that the colors themselves are offering the different nutrients. So if you try and eat as many orange colors, you'll start to notice the nutrients that color represents, and if you start to eat as many blue colors, you'll notice the nutrients that represents. And the same goes for the green and the reds, and you'll start to notice that there's just an enormous range of fruits and vegetables and spices that you can acquire just by trying to follow the certain colors. So have fun. Bye.